Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's live session. My name is Karen McGee, and thank you so much for being here. I know that life can get overwhelming sometimes, and it can feel like everything is moving so fast. But what do you do when you can't slow down? When your mind won't stop racing and you feel like you're gonna go crazy? So, I'm here today to talk about that exact feeling, that rush, that inability to slow down, and the frustration that comes with it. Whether you're dealing with racing thoughts, ADHD, anxiety, or just feeling overwhelmed by life, today's session is for you. We're going to break down why this happens and, most importantly, talk about ways to regain control, calm your mind, and feel more grounded. So, grab a drink, settle in, and let's dive into today's conversation. So, we've all been there at some point, right? You're trying to focus on one thing, but your mind jumps to the next and the next. And then you find yourself doing 10 things at once and trying to, and feeling like none of it actually is being completed. You feel crazy, restless, like you're on a never ending cycle of racing thoughts and unfinished tasks. And it's just plain exhausting, isn't it? So, why does this happen? Well, the root cause often lies in a few different areas. ADHD, for those with ADHD, this feeling is often part of daily life. The inability to slow down can stem from an overactive mind and difficulty focusing on one task at a time. It can be frustrating when you're trying to concentrate, but your brain keeps bouncing around. The other could be anxiety, where when you're anxious, our body's fight or flight response kicks in. And this can cause a constant feeling of being on edge, unable to relax, and a racing mind. Thoughts can go from one thing to another without pause, making it hard to ground yourself. Another could be overstimulation. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with information. Our phones, work, family, and social obligations can all contribute to being overstimulated, making it nearly impossible to slow down. Stress and overload is another. If you're juggling multiple tasks, responsibilities, and deadlines, it's easy to feel like your body and mind are running on overdrive. You may even feel like there's just no time to stop and breathe. But let's be clear, it's okay to feel like this. You're not broken. The key to the key is understanding why it's happening and finding ways to regain control. Okay, so we know what it feels like to be stuck in this rush. But what happens when we can't slow down? Well, this sense of craziness that we have can have a big impact on our daily lives. It's important to recognize these effects so we can start to address them. To one, mental and emotional exhaustion. When your mind is constantly on the go, you're mentally drained, and it's like running a marathon without any rest. Over time, this can lead to burnout, anxiety, and even depression. Two, physical symptoms. The mind body connection is real. Chronic stress and overstimulation can result in headaches, tension muscles, digestive issues, and even problems sleeping. Your body mirrors what's happening in your mind. Three, work and productivity issues. When you can't sleep, or when you can't slow down, it becomes difficult to focus on the task at hand. You might jump from one project to another without finishing anything. This can affect your work performance and create feelings of guilt or inadequacy. Relationship struggles. It's hard to be present with people around you when your mind is racing. This can lead to miscommunication, frustration, and even feelings of isolation, as others might not understand what you're going through. Overall well being. The longer you go without slowing down, the more it affects your overall well being. You might feel disconnected from yourself, struggling with anxiety, or even doubting your ability to manage your life effectively. Now, now that we've talked about what's going on and why it's happening, let's talk about the solutions. If you're feeling like you're constantly in a rush and need to regain control, here are some strategies that can help. One, mindfulness and breathing techniques. I say it all the time, but it is so critical. This is one of my most effective ways to bring your mind back to the present moment. Simply deep breathing exercises can activate your body's relaxations response and help slow your racing thoughts. So try a 4-7-8 breathing technique where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 7, you exhale for 8, and you repeat this for a few minutes. Grounding exercise. When your mind is racing, try grounding techniques to reconnect with your body and your present in the present moment. A quick one is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. You look around and you identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This helps shift your focus and slows the rush of thoughts. Break down tasks into small steps. Being overwhelmed often comes from the thought of having to do everything at once. Instead, break the task into smaller, manageable steps and focus on one thing at a time. This helps reduce the feeling of being out of control. Create structure and routine. If life feels chaotic, adding structure can bring calmness to you. Create a simple daily routine with set times for work, meals, exercise, and relaxation. Having this framework will help you feel more grounded. Prioritize self care. It's essential to make time for self care when you're feeling like everything is moving too fast. Whether it's taking a walk, practicing yoga, reading a book, or just sitting in silence, make sure you schedule moments to just be. Limit external stimulation. If you're overwhelmed by constant input, consider limiting your exposure to information overload. Try turning off unnecessary notifications, setting boundaries for screen time, and carving out quiet time where you're not consistently connected. Remember, if you're feeling like you can't slow down and everything is moving too fast, you're not alone. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, but it's also important to recognize that you have the power to regain control and slow things down. By practicing mindfulness, creating structure, and prioritizing self care, you can start to feel more grounded and in control of your life. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them before we wrap up. I hope today's live session gave you some insights into how to manage that rush and feel more in control. If you're struggling with this, remember to be kind to yourself. You got this. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.